So welcome friends to this symposium or discussion on the role of the changing role of men. Now, in the traditionally the role of men in the world has been one of sort of providing for the family, of hunting, and basically dominating the role of women in almost all the different fields of life, and especially in politics, even in religion and in business and in ruling the countries. And men have been involved in basically in divide and conquering, as opposed to the women's role in the world of providing for the family, raising children, working in the home, and taking care of the home life. And this is how it's been, since ancient times, up until the recent sort of modern times. And since the beginning of the last century, especially in terms of the role of women has been expanding in many phases of life. During World War II, we saw how women came out from the homes and were working in factories to make airplanes and army tanks and things for the war, and the women were out in the hospitals and on the working in hospitals and nurses for the soldiers. And then after the war, with the advent of the urbanization and industrialization, more women have been coming into the workforce, and they've been assuming greater roles in politics, and even in business and in religion. And so especially the role changes have been more dramatic on the women's side, and especially in the last 30 or so years, with the rise of the feminist movement and women's liberation. Women have been demanding more and more equality and opportunity to work in all the fields that men do, and so that their opportunities, their experience in life can be greater. They're not content just to stay home as nurturers and guard the home front. So and so it's the role of women that's actually been changing more. But the challenge for men, the role of men, has to be to gradually accept this change. And one of the constant changes in life actually is impermanence, or the universal law of impermanence and change. Is that ever since the dawn of evolution, that evolution has been a continuous change in the world, and things that people do and their perceptions. So men find this a challenge, that they're being challenged by women and on other fronts to protect their perceptions of what it is to be a man or a woman, or protect their vested interest. And so it's been difficult for men to gradually relinquish their dominance in all the various sort of fields of life and society, and to allow the women to assume greater and greater roles. So I think that the changing role of men in the world is they have to change from a mindset of divide and conquer, and seeing the male race as being sort of superior. They have to soften that, and they have to gradually open up and actually allow women to become more active in all the different spheres of life, because women bring a more sense of compassion and sensitivity to the world. And that's what I see as the men's changing role is to be less dominant and allow for more reconciliation instead of protecting their own sort of turf, so to speak. They have to see the world as gradually becoming a more global place, and with the advent of globalization of the world, that we're no more isolated, and that we have to begin seeing the world as a global family, and we have to learn to accept all the different races and cultures as being a part of the worldwide family. And so to allow for more integration and allow for more communal problem solving, and rather than solving things with force and violence, we have to solve things with more, men have to open up and solve things with more compassion and more openness to change, and to be less of a domineering force, but to be more of a facilitator, to help facilitate the gradual evolution of the worldwide community, and to see themselves as only one part of the greater world, and act in cooperation with the world in large, and trying to find an equal common ground rather than clinging on to their old concepts and ways of doing business as usual. They have to use their wisdom. They have to develop the side of their compassion and wisdom, so that the world can grow in more harmony, and that all living beings can feel like they have an equal part in the development and the process of life in this greater world. And especially in terms of the Dhamma and the teachings of the Buddha, this is what the Buddha, his advice to the world was that each person is only a small part in the greater in the greater world, and we all have a part to play, and it has to be done with mutual respect, and to weaken our individual egos and dominance, to allow every person in the world to develop to their highest potential. So this is how I see the changing role of men, is again not of dominance and divide and conquer and rule, but to open up and to just help to be one of many facilitators to facilitate the emergence of the world into the global harmony. So this is my message. Thank you.